Hello, Pietro Martani. You are a serial entrepreneur from Italy. You were one of the co-founders of Copernico, one of the leading company in the coworking flex workspace industry in Italy some years ago that was taken over by IWG. And since then, you have been a multi-entrepreneur in a lot of different things related to real estate, and especially Stella 33, which is one of the new brands in the Italian market for flex workspace. And you do flex workspace services in a number of big properties around Milan and one in Venice.
Yeah, it's quickly. What we do is support institutional landlords to reposition office buildings that have some issues of vacancy, or in some cases, we support a higher positioning with respect to what the building is or the entire area, the business district is currently positioned. We do strategic consulting, and then we support with operations. Stella 33 is the operating arm to actually design and implement flex facilities and hospitality services for those buildings. We then support them in marketing, so from branding to actual lead generation and lead generation for the assets.
You operate 8,000 square meters in the outskirts of Milan. You are involved in one of the biggest office districts close to the fast train station and close to one of the busiest business districts in Milan. You also operate 2,500 square meter in Venice in terms of flex and co-working space. And what you were telling, basically, you are a real estate doctor with some facilities which are struggling to get new tenants.
Milan city center has percent vacancy rate now. After the pandemic, many companies moved from the outskirts or business districts to the city center. Microsoft, for example, is one case. So smaller offices with more vibrant environment, better design, activity-based working design rather than traditional open spaces and desks. We work in areas that are very interesting. One is called Mind. Milan Innovation District is 1 million square meters. The development run by Lendlease, the Australian developer. We run the center flex facility of Mind. They have created value around an empty spot that has now attracted companies such as AstraZeneca, Bayer, 25,000 students of Scientific University of Milan. We moved their hospitals and research centers. So that's a very clear case of value creation from a white canvas. So another 1 million square meters of development, retail and residences. That's slightly outside the city center, but well connected by train. We run facilities within a larger building. We run 2,500 square meters and the hospitality. So in this case, we were called to reconceive services within this building. And we design a flex facility with office suite, executive suite. We brand those spaces very much. So our brand, Stella, is neutral. The brands of the customers are the main actors of the building.
We wanted also to speak with you because you were the curator of a recent report done with the MIT Sloan management company in Italy about the impact of AI on the way a company would figure out their workspace in the future. And so there was a chart which was really interesting. You said that now we are in phase 2 of this evolution about activity-based working. You design space based on the task you have to do. And we are in the middle of that. But more and more, those social areas, those brainstorming corner, those everything related to what is not focused task will become more and more important for the workspace. How do you see that the way companies are changing through AI will impact the way you see your service as a flex workspace provider?
Hybrid work emerged and now it's consolidated. So depending on the geography, maybe 1 day out of 5, maybe 2 days at home and 3 days at work. But most companies have policies now that are structured to also include physical work. Much depends on what the company does, obviously, but physical contiguity is important, although hybrid is the keyword in this phase. We define this phase between 2020 until 2026. In 26, the third factor is emerging, and that's generative AI. First thing, the workspace is becoming as a service. From compliance to actual design of the details to what the people want, your companies need to attract people, retain people, get people work better. That's going towards progressive immersion of operators that actually manage workspace, not only flexible space, but also traditionally rented or managed workspace. Okay, many operators are emerging with different business models. Looking at the overall office real estate industry, we label it workspace as a service. That's one thing that is emerging. Second is activity-based working. It's passing from a model of 20% common space, 80% in like traditional desks to 50-50. The collaborative space includes amenities, meeting rooms or areas that are flexible for several uses, spaces for impromptu meetings, because everybody's understanding that it's important that people get in touch to each other. Third revolution of this phase, which is from 2026 to 2030 in our analysis, is how ESG is changing. I think governance is the strongest element being impacted in terms of innovation and diversification. AI will help very much, having data, disposing of data, and being more aware how the space is used and all the aspects that concern the governance. The third phase is from 2030 to 2036. We all wonder how work will change because of AI. So the sources we analyzed say that in this phase, 26, 30, changes will be mainly qualitative. As we said, activity-based working, workspace as a service, companies will not lay off many people in these years. The usage of AI will have to be consolidated. I see that already companies that we work with to limit new hires because they need to understand and start to leverage AI. What will probably happen in the following phase is many things will be automated. Many things won't be run by people.
You mentioned 30% in your report, that 30% of the current tasks will be automated by 2030. Yeah.
Yeah, there are several sources that say from 25 to 40. And what will we do as human beings when the machines will do a lot of the work? AI changes how we work rather than the amount of work being done. And this certainly will have an impact on the quality of activities that we will do, the skills required by people. It's very clear that soft skills are becoming more important. The interaction will be more important. And what is left is competition on the culture of the organization, trust within the organization. So the office will port these two things. So if companies compete with tools that are very similar to each company in the end, how do we make the difference? Where is the layer where we compete? Layer will be what kind of people there are behind the company, what are the values represented and truly lived by that company. You know, the Maslow pyramid. Maslow pyramid, we are heading towards the peak. So very sophisticated, cognitively intense tasks and activities run by the companies. The office will have to become a learning infrastructure, an interaction space and container, but that also creates extra value. People will have to be happy to stay in a given workspace. If you are happy, you are more productive, you are more efficient, you produce endorphins, and in the end, you create something more interesting for that company. And people, customers, will see that layer increasingly in the future. So my view is very positive towards how the office is to become in the future. More human. Machines will make us more human. That's my positive take of the thing.
Or do you see that impacting the flex workspace services? in the coming years?
Operators in the flex industry are the forerunner of this change. They have more skills than anyone else in the office industry because they are more used to interact with organizations that are closer to the market, they're closer to people, closer to these concepts of community and innovation. Knowledge being transferred by people quickly because of the setup of flex workspaces, spaces that are truly supportive of many tasks that we do during the activity-based working model is the center of a good flex design. I see operators at the center of this revolution in the future.
Thank you so much, Pietro, for sharing that with us.
Thank you.